Good morning. Okay, let's try that again. Good morning. There we go. Good morning. Welcome to day 2 of Age+Action. My name is Amanda Kreischer. I am the Associate Director of Behavioral Health here at NCOA, and I am thrilled to have the pleasure to introduce some of our fabulous partners from Partners in Care here to give us our Spotlight morning session. So I'm going to bow off the stage really quickly and turn it right over to June Simmons, the President and CEO of Partners in Care Foundation. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Have a wonderful second day.
Thank you. Oh, no slides? Good morning.
Good morning.
We're looking for our slides. Are they there? No. Okay. It'd be
There we go.
good if we had them. There we go. All right, detail counts, right? After all, you all got up. We're so excited. We said, well, there'll probably be more than 2 of us here this morning at this early hour. So we're thrilled to see you. So I'm June Simmons, founding CEO of Partners in Care Foundation, a not-for-profit in Southern California. And my esteemed colleague, Christy, Vice President of our Community Integration Programs. She leads our hub, our training center, and our community wellness evidence-based program, so she's an essential and delightful partner. So we're 27 years old. We live in La La Land, Southern California, and we call ourselves Phoenix from the Ashes. We invented ourselves with limited resources, so we continue to be driven by the delight of the pressure of building a sustainability and series of innovations. And one of our very, very first innovations was HomeMeds, a solid evidence-based program that addresses such critical and universal issues. Anybody here who's not on a medication? Let's see. Almost everybody, I bet. So this is a program that's been evolving over our 27 years and continues now into its new phase. We've said, AI, what's that? And now we are it. So we have an exciting new, very efficient and fun version. And so we want to share that with you, but maybe we should talk about why medications matter. First of all, they are universal. We say, well, you have to have meds for almost any health issue or a discomfort. And so they can cure you, they can kill you. And in between, they can create lots of side effects, especially for older populations. As we know, often people have many. And so they can be prescribed. We love that we go to the home, like probably most of you. We're very serious in Partners in Care about what happens at home, what really happens at home. And the health system prescribes happily, assured that when people say, yes, thank you, doctor or nurse practitioner, that all will go well. But we know that, in fact, as much as 35% of what's prescribed isn't even ever filled. And if it is filled, it is often either not taken or not taken right. So I don't know how many of you have an older relative where you're trying to help figure out all those meds. Anybody? Nobody. There's one caregiver. It's a big caregiver role, and if you aren't straightening out the meds, you're worrying about them. So this is, I think, so important. There are multiple prescribers. You know, people often don't have just one condition. They often don't have just one doctor or care provider, and especially if they've been hospitalized or in the ER. They're in the grip of the system, and they'll get new meds, and they'll have their old meds at home. And then they'll have their exciting over-the-counters. So one way or another, you can get a complex circumstance where even if you're fully at your best, it can be confusing. And so we know that it not only comes after hospitalization, but that many, many hospitalizations are driven by the medications. Many as 30%, at least in Los Angeles, we see, and we have 1.5 million people 60 and over in our county, so we have a lot of them, and so imagine that 30% of their hospitalizations can be driven by unintended negative side effects of the meds that are supposed to help them. And ER visits also very often will occur from these. And so questions, how do you find out about these problems? Whether they're the wrong medications, whether they are taken the wrong way, whether they're blended with all the other meds someone has. This is really a crucial arena for things to go wrong and for things to go right. Never should a home visit occur that is our really get acquainted to really see what's going on with someone in their home. I don't know, I'm assuming most of you have done a home visit, have you? We just took our board members on home visits, and they were, it sounds like, oh, it's a home visit. But of course, the truth is in the home. It's astonishing the things that can go wrong with the lack of information, with the lack of willingness, with the confusions that can occur. And so with a non-clinician, with a community health worker, actually we don't have it yet, but we hope with a caregiver being able to use a tool like this, that'll be our next innovation, to go into the home and really see the risks that are there and to really see the meds. The pharmacists call and they go through the list of what's been prescribed and talk to the person. They think they have the truth about the meds. But actually, if you go to the home, you look in the fridge, you look on the kitchen table, you look in the bathroom, you look by the lazy boy, you look in the bedroom, and you find an astonishing array of opportunities for things to go wrong that can be meaningfully hazardous. So I think, we say, well, they're meds issues, but people can look not like themselves anymore. They take out the meds, they're restored. They can affect cognition, balance, huge driver of falls, blood pressure for sure, mood. Hopefully you're all in a good mood today, with or without meds. Little humor. Come on, it's morning. Let's go. Sleep, disruption of sleep or too much sleep, dizziness, confusion, chronic pain. So figuring out when people have those symptoms, which they might have from some other cause, that they might actually be explained by the medications is critical. This is so important. So these are hidden risks at home along with all the supplements. So we really feel it's terribly important to go and look, to sit at the kitchen table and talk through how people really take their medications, what do they understand about them, and to get that captured in a record and undergirded by an algorithm that can tell us if you understand dizziness, confusion, and history of recent falls, and if you even could get the aberrant blood pressure, that would be even better. But just interviewing for that, gathering all the meds and letting the algorithms do the work, you can see if a pharmacist should look and see if symptoms are explained by the medications the person is taking. And at that point then, we really want a pharmacist to determine and then alert the prescriber, because deprescribing is a big thing these days. Besides that, meds are expensive, and it's great not to spend money on things that are actually going to hurt you, and to educate people. Because people think Tylenol PM is a breeze, there's no problem with it. There's interactions from over-the-counters like that people innocently take, thinking all is well. So we think that Christy should tell you a lot more in detail about what we call the glories of HomeMeds, which we hope that you will want to see demonstrated at our booth, and think about whether your staff that go to the home may want to utilize. Proud of Christy's work. You're on, girl.
All right.
Go for it.
So we're in a room of some academics. So if I have any in the room here, when AI first came out, you might have thought to yourself, it's kind of a way of cheating. Did anybody think that? Raise your hand if you thought that. I did a little bit too, right? But over time, right, with a little bit of experience, have you changed your mindset a little bit? Thought about ways that it could actually help cut some time, cut some costs? Has your mind changed a little bit? Yeah, mine too. And ours too, right, with HomeMeds. So with HomeMeds, how does this work? So typically what happens is in our computer platform, we will have staff going out into the home, we'll have staff in the community being able to do medication assessments. You might have older adults bring a brown bag of all of their medications, and maybe they bring all of them, maybe they bring just the prescriptions, but we instruct them to bring everything, their supplements, their over-the-counter meds, their prescription meds, the things that they might sometimes take because a friend told them, hey, try this, it worked for me, right? And everything gets put into HomeMeds. But prior to this AI innovation, we had to type everything in, right? And so what we see with HomeMeds is an average of 12 medications that are managed at any given time. Now, think about the time spent sitting and typing in and selecting the dosage, the frequency, the pharmacy that it's collected at, the prescribing doctor, all very valuable information, right? And so essential to truly getting, as June mentioned, the big picture, right, of what's going on in the home. But it's time intensive and it's labor intensive. And there's a lot of really important stuff to do when you're out in the community or when you're out in the home. So this innovation actually helps to cut down on time and cut down on energy, right? HomeMeds, when there is an interaction detected, will raise a flag, an alert, that says a pharmacist should look at this. And so then the assessment is sent to a pharmacist will review all of the medications, make recommendations for what needs to change. The letter will go back to the individual, letter go back to the primary care physician that says, here are the recommendations as a result of the HomeMeds assessment. All of that done with the input from our community health worker, or staff members, and with those risk interactions, right, or possibly duplications, because as you can imagine, we've got perhaps the big bottle that refills the little bottle that might be mistaken, thinking we've got to take both of them, right? There's also just an opportunity for flexible delivery. As June mentioned, this can be used by anybody. And as many of you here know, with the evidence-based programs, they're so scalable because they can be done by lay leaders, right? That's the way that we've been able to spread. And HomeMeds is just the same. Sometimes we tend to think that the clinician should do the clinical work and the community folks should do the community work, and that's absolutely not the case with this. That the people who actually know and build relationship with their patients, with their clients, with the older adults in the community, should actually be the ones who are building that rapport and being able to collect this information. And in as such, HomeMeds allows you to do that, right? It can be done by social workers, community health workers, trained community members, and as June mentioned, a lot of what we're hearing is that wish for that direct to consumer, so perhaps that's what we're working on next. But like she said, it identifies what's going on in the home and how prescriptions are actually being used. All right. So with this AI innovation, we have medication label transcription. So whereas before I had staff members out there who were typing in the dosage, typing in the frequency, you might have thought, oh, there's subject to some errors, right? Sure, absolutely. Of course, they double and triple check, right? But even human error happens. And so with this AI integration, there's actually an opportunity in our mobile platform, right? You'll be able to log into HomeMeds, scan the bottle, and it'll actually transcribe everything that's on the bottle straight into the program. So much faster, 50% faster data collection, and also allows for speech to text. How many of you guys use speech to text whenever you're texting or transcribing notes? Yeah, it's so fast. I've learned recently in my car, I can say, okay, Google, text mom. Mom, of course, on the other side will say, well, don't text while you're driving. I'm not. I'm using AI, right? And as you can imagine, there will also be increased data accuracy because with the alerts dependent on the information that's input into the platform, using that AI medication label transcription will allow for accurate data capture and therein increased accuracy when there are alerts that are raised. Now, why does it work, right? So it's field ready and it's connected. It's a digital tool that integrates seamlessly with care teams in real time when you're out in the community, because we've all got one of these, right? It can be as simple as this. Yes, before we had to take laptops or tablets out into the field, and that's all fine and well because it's such a valuable bit of information for us to be able to collect. But we've made it even easier. It's culturally responsive, and the important thing to know about that is that when we're out in the community, we're really actually addressing what's going on in the community with the people who have built the relationships with their clients, with the older adults that they're seeing. And it's clinically informed, but it does not require clinical delivery. And it allows for safety reviews without requiring licensure. Now, you might think to yourself, is there risk in that? Actually, everything in the HomeMeds platform is tethered to the latest Beers criteria, and so it's all, like we mentioned, clinically informed. And the algorithm scans for all of the alerts based on a clinical criteria. And there are proven results. As June mentioned, this is a program that's been around since we were 2 years old. Think of what a 2-year-old could do. Probably not create HomeMeds, we sure did. So there's been nationwide adoption, and some of you in the room may be some of those folks who have used HomeMeds to date. 71% of users flagged for safety risks with correction thereafter. Reduced readmissions by 24% and ER visits by 13% in high-risk patients. And a 4-to-1 return on investment, right? Lowering costs by preventing avoidable ER visits, hospital readmissions, and medication-related complications. And here you just see a testimony by one of our participants that said, one visit gave my clarity back, right? Gave my clarity back and my life. And that's all it takes is one visit, right? We think about some of our evidence-based programs and the community that it builds, and you have multiple sessions. With HomeMeds, it is one interaction. Sure, you might build a great relationship after that, but we see it as such a great complement to any of the services that we provide, whether they be the evidence-based programs, your home visits, any service line that your company may offer, your organization may offer, because it's truly just that one visit. It's typically done, takes about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how many medications somebody might be managing. But now think about 50% reduction in the amount of time that it could take, and how many more people you'll be able to serve through HomeMeds. So as June mentioned, we've got our booth right across from Salon G. Amy Adams, our director, is going to be doing some demonstrations of our new AI integration. So we encourage you all to go and visit our booth. And as the conference goes on, we'll also have a session tomorrow talking about our community care hub, which is a great opportunity for something like HomeMeds to integrate with our hub members for all of the services that we offer, and hopefully for all of the services that you offer.
We had one of the first community care hubs in the country, and so we're very proud to be evolving that with all of you. And we think HomeMeds as a strong evidence-based tool, highly ranked for a long time. It's been really deep research behind it, and its algorithms continue to be evolved. It has a medical advisory group. It's a powerful tool for us because at least where we are, we're working very hard to assure that our community care that all of us bring is accessible to people at home. So this could be added to Meals on Wheels initial assessment and entry. It can be used with any kind of intervention in the home. But what we love is here we have two MSWs talking about gathering medical information, the medicine itself. That's a clinical function, and it really allows us to extend the eyes and ears of the home-based services that we all bring and bring them directly, electronically, filtered by a pharmacist, so no false alerts go to the providers, the prescribers. They go through the pharmacist, but the pharmacist doesn't have to go and look. It triages, so first we do home visits on people who need a home visit. They're at high risk and complex. Then we filter and utilize the top of the license of each of the disciplines, but it does not have to be a medical person to get the information about the person, just as it doesn't have to be a medical person to gather the safety information in the home about throw rugs, low lighting, the need for railings, the observance of a person's ambulation in that kind of an environment, and then sitting outside the clinical setting with its rush, the ability to get a candid interview with someone and to actually look and see and pull out all these exciting solutions people have for optimizing how they feel. I think creating that for the alternative workforce that we represent is a very powerful tool. I have the pleasure of co-chairing the National Partnership to Align Social Care, working with ACL and working with key members of health plans, health systems, their CBOs, all kinds of individuals in the effort to align our community care and health care, because there's such a great recognition now that so much of what really drives health is outside the health intervention itself. If that's 20% and the other factors are 80%, and meds are one of the big drivers. So I think it really strengthens our position as meaningful service providers as we work to establish community care as a fully respected sector of how we address population health, of how we get the right care to people in the right place at the right time with their own ability to drive their own care, but with good information and tools.
That's sustainable.
Sustainable, well, this pays for itself, of course. It doesn't take very many ER visits and hospitalizations to be avoided to well pay for the kind of care that we provide and so, that you provide. So I think being economically sustainable, and we live in a world where you say, well, what will happen to Medicaid? We don't know. Medicare is a huge new opportunity so far to really build ourselves out as extenders of medical office practices, as important care transitions groups for both hospitals and their ERs and nursing homes, people who can get back home from the ER. In every case, especially with those changes from inside the building to going back home, that's the huge opportunity for there to be medication confusion. New meds, old meds at home, people are a little bit impaired from having had a health experience, maybe being in the hospital for a while, maybe not at their best, and the opportunity for error is great.
June, as MSWs, I think about what are we good at, right? How do we operate at the top of our license? And it's truly the relationships that we build and the community that we're able to outreach to and build rapport with, right? That's what they always say about a social worker, is to build that rapport. And I think one of the things that I always hold on to is one of our Juneisms. We always tease June that she's got these Juneisms, is that the first form of wealth is
The company we keep.
Right? And so we're hoping to spread that to all of our practices, right? And with a helpful tool like HomeMeds, being allowed to really get that clinical knowledge, right, in a community way. Right?
So this tool is at use in 60 sites in 20 states.
Yep.
At AAAs.
AAAs, ADRCs, any site, truly translatable information that can be used. We use it throughout probably all of our departments at Partners.
When we began the Community Care Hub, we did it with Blue Shield, and it was quite a new idea at the time, 12 years ago, I guess. And everything we did, if we weren't using a licensed person to do the home visit, had to be countersigned and reviewed by a licensed person. There's still big emphasis on licensure, you know, RNs, MDs, LCSWs, well, us too. But this emergence, at least in many places across the country, to be able to use an alternative workforce. They might have bachelor's degrees, they might not. Lived experience, a whole array of people that can fall under the community health worker or the social worker without a license is powerful. And there's a great need for that workforce, of course. We still, although we heard that robots are coming, we still think we'll be important. And so we have a training center as well at Partners in Care that for all our hub members, for all our own staff, and for folks across the country can provide community health worker training that's equipped to get people towards certification. Because I don't know about you, but we are very driven by unmet human need and the desire to get full social care perspective, community care, I guess is the new word I'm using these days, get our eyes on people, where they actually live, how they actually live, to see what goes wrong that results in avoidable suffering and then avoidable costs. And so training these workforces and having efficient ways to do it. We've built this with grants from the Hartford, from the Archstone Foundation, and from a range of other sources. HomeMeds being a tool that kind of workforce can use with credibility, and then the doctor, the nurse practitioner can get the truth about the meds. The truth about the meds is very hard to come by, including how people really take them. We like to think about the lady who says, well, I know I have all these meds, I'm supposed to take them 3 times a day, but I only eat 1 meal a day, I'm supposed to take them with food. So I take them all at noon. Or the gentleman who does feel a little concerned about his memory, takes everything in the morning. His muscle relaxant, 3 blood pressure doses, a pain med, and on and on. So you can imagine what he looks like after he wakes up and takes his meds. So hopefully we've left you feeling better than he does, although he feels great when he gets off all those meds. It spreads them out properly. So we're appreciative of your time. We'll be available after if you would like to come and chat with us. We'd love to have a chance to talk more about it, or come by our booth, or come to our Community Care Hub session tomorrow midday. Have a great day, and thanks for your time.
Thank you again, June and Christy, for that incredibly valuable information. I hope you will all take a few moments to visit them at their booth. Go stop by their session tomorrow as well. We have about 15 minutes right now before our keynote session starts at 9 a.m. That will focus on social isolation. So you have a few minutes to get some more to eat, drink, use the restroom. For those of you who need seats, there's plenty up here in the front, and we'll get started here again at 9 o'clock. Thank you.